Welcome to Maintaining a Balance video 9. In this video, we're going to be discussing the transport mechanisms in plants. As we discussed in our preliminary course, there are two types of tissues that are present in plants. The xylem, which is important for carrying water and mineral ions, and that occurs from the roots via absorption, and to the leaves, which need the water for photosynthesis. The xylem consists of xylem vessels, tracheids, fibers, and parenchyma cells. Transporting the xylem is a passive movement due to transpiration. Phloem is responsible for the transportation of organic nutrient products, including sugars, amino acids, and hormones. And that tissue consists of phloem fibers, phloem parenchyma, sieve cells, and companion cells. Movement in the phloem occurs in two directions, and that's via translocation. There are two theories which we are going to be discussing in this video. The first being the transpiration stream theory, and that's also called the cohesion, adhesion, tension theory, and that's involved with the movement of water and mineral ions in the xylem. And the second is the pressure flow theory, which is also known as the source path sink theory, and that's important for the translocation of organic nutrients inside the phloem. Here's a quick overview and pictorial representation of the transpiration and translocation process. Please refer to this if you need a visual for the process which we're going to discuss. The transpiration stream theory is important in explaining how water and ions move in the xylem by passive transport due to the generation of the evaporative pool of transpiration. So as water is evaporated from the leaves, water is pulled from the roots back to the leaves to replace those water molecules that have been lost. Water is absorbed in the roots by osmosis, and the mineral ions absorbed in the roots are by diffusion or by active transport. This theory states that there is a formation of a continuous stream to replace the loss of water from the leaves. One of the forces which is involved is the adhesive force, and that's the attraction between the water molecules and the walls of the xylem. This is important for the one-way flow of water molecules. Second is capillarity, which explains the way water rises up the lumen of the xylem. And the third being the cohesive forces, which is the attraction of water molecules to each other. When water molecules leave the xylem through the leaves, tension is created in the column of water. Adhesion, so the attraction to the walls of the xylem, and cohesion, so the attraction of water molecules to each other, ensures the water column does not break as it moves from the roots to the leaves. This is a one-way transport. Here we can see again, so as the water is evaporating from the leaves, usually because of the stomata opening, we can see that the leaf surface causes the pull of water molecules from the roots. Because of the properties of water, we know the adhesion and cohesion, that water stream continues to move up from the roots to the leaf as long as that stomata is open. Plants can regulate when their stomata opens to avoid water loss, but the stomata opening is important for gas exchange. Second theory is the pressure flow theory, and that's important to explain the translocation of the products of photosynthesis by active transport. So this process does require energy. An osmotic pressure gradient is generated because of the differences in sugar and water inside the phloem. So in osmosis is the movement of water molecules from high to low concentration, and we're going to look at some pictures that explain that further in the video. We start in a place called the source. So this is the part of the plant that is producing the products that need to be transported. So they're the leaves that are undergoing photosynthesis. Sugar is actively loaded into the phloem, and then it is transported to a sink tissue. These sink tissues are usually roots or flowers that are growing and need the sugar. And then once the sugar has been transported from the source to the sink, they are actively unloaded into the tissues from the phloem. This loading and unloading of sugar attracts water, and that's to maintain the osmotic balance, but it only occurs due to the differences in osmotic pressure. Here we can see sugar is being produced at the source, So we can see a higher concentration of sugar molecules compared to the concentration of water molecules. So this is why xylem is moving into the phloem. Here we can see the water and the sugars are moving down, so not up like the xylem, and we know that phloem can move both ways. And we can see that the water is helping this maintain the osmotic balance and transport this sugar to the sink tissue, which has a lower concentration of sugar molecules compared to the source. Thank you for watching video 9. Make sure that you are in class for these activities because it's going to be a lot of discussion and a lot of drawing to make sure you understand these theories. Make sure you also tune in for video 10.